Hey, welcome back to Level 6 Math. This is Mr. Steve with Lesson 51 in our Saxon Math. Now, today we're going to be talking about rounding decimal numbers. This is something that we've practiced doing with other numbers, but we just haven't done it with decimals yet. So it's going to feel mostly like a review, but we're going to put in some practical application here because we do round decimals all the time when it comes to rounding to the nearest cent or the nearest tenth and different things. And so this is a good practice for the rest of life. It says it's often helpful to round decimal numbers. For instance, money amounts are rounded to two places because we don't have a coin smaller than 1/100 of a dollar, which makes sense. Okay, so let's start our first one. Dan here wanted to buy a book for $6.89, discount book on Amazon. The sales tax was 8%, and he calculated the sales tax. He knew that 8%, that's the same as 8 over 100, or if we wanted that as a decimal, that'd be 0.08. So all you need to do is, if we're saying 8% of, remember that keyword of means multiply. So 8%, 0.08 of 689, we'll just line those up, we'll multiply it out. They've already calculated it for here. And just as a review here, if we have 2 decimal points here and 2 decimal points here, we're going to count over 4 decimal points in the answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where we're going to stick our decimal. All right, so we get 0.5512. Well, 5512 isn't cents, it's not $55.12. So what we're going to have to do is round here. So we take our first 2 because that's how many cents we have. It's out of a dollar. And we're going to round it. Now, is 5512 going to round up or round down? Well, 1 is less than 5. We're looking for 50 as kind of that middle point. So we're going to round down in this case. So it's going to be 55 cents in sales tax. Let me just read through this real quick. We see that 5512 is a little more than 55, but less than 56. We decide that 5512 is closer to 55 or 56 by looking at the next digit, which in this case is a 1. And the next, if it's 5 or more, we round up, but since it's down, we round down to 55 cents. All right, so let's try this again. Sheila is pulling up to the gas station and filling her car's tank with 10.381 gallons of gasoline. And that's how they do it at gas stations because they're weird. Gas stations just do this weird, I don't know why. So we get 10.381, which is exactly how many drops of gasoline we have. But for calculating your gas mileage and things like that, you might want to round to the nearest tenth. So if we're looking at the nearest tenth here, we're just coming to the tenth. 3 is the one that we're going to round, so we have to go to the next number. Is 8 closer to the next number up or the next number down? Well, 8's high, so we're going to round up. So this is going to be 3.4 gallons of gas because the 8's going to be higher than 5. We're going to round up. And finally, our third example is estimate the product. This we've done before. We've rounded numbers just to estimate. Here it says by rounding numbers to the nearest whole number. So this is easy. 5 is closer to the next number up, so we're going to go instead of 6.8, we're going to go round up to 7. That's the nearest whole number. And 4.2, 2 is under 5, so we're going to round down to 4. So we're just going to do 7 times 4, and that's 28. Now, the reason this is so helpful is if we're used to rounding, this is a great way to check our work. We can look at this and say 6.85 and 4.2, that's going to be approximately 28. Now, that's a little less than 7, that's a little more than 4, so it's not going to be exactly 28, but then if we want to do our multi-digit multiplication and find the answer, we're going to know if we're close to the answer, if it's near 28, because just by rounding, estimating and rounding, we're going to get close to the answer, which is really helpful in real-world math. We're just going to do that all the time. All right? So 28, and that's it. That's our whole lesson. So we're just going to practice rounding decimal numbers today. This is a great activity just to practice because you're going to keep using this the rest of your life. But it's a pretty easy assignment for today, easy lesson. All right, good luck.